here. And we will see that this is high. Where are you going? Back in the pocket. Okay, read your contract. You got to come out. Okay? Out we go. All right. This is holly. And we have several flying squirrels. This is a flying squirrel. Turns out that there's actually several different species of flying squirrel. We get around here in New England, right in this area, the two prominent species will overlap. We'll have a northern flying squirrels and southern flying squirrels. And southern flying squirrels get all the way down into Florida and Louisiana and stuff. And there's actually 10 subspecies of southern flying squirrel. There's only one northern flying squirrel. And a lot of times when I'm using holly here, people will say, you know, I saw one of those, but it was bigger than that. And it tended to be a little more gray than brown. And I said, well, it's probably a northern flying squirrel, because northern flying squirrels are a little bit larger than holly here. They are nocturnal. And if we look at her, we can obviously see why. She's got these big, huge, beautiful eyes. And the bigger your eyes are, the more light they let in. The more light they let in, the better you can see. And so she has big, huge eyes. So these guys are very personable, but they're really unique creatures. They have what's known as a patagium. And this patagium is this flap of skin that we see right here. It goes from the front foot to the back foot, and it allows them to jump and glide. They really shouldn't be called flying squirrels. They should be called gliding squirrels, because they don't really fly, they glide. They would jump from one tree, and they would glide to another tree. And then one of the other really neat features, I think this one's very cool, is their tail. You might have looked at her tail and you might have seen that she's got this big long flat tail there. And it's really strange because the bone in the tail is just a regular bone, but the hair flares out like this and creates this flat surface. And this is wonderful for them because it acts like a rudder. Now this is very, very important in a forest ecosystem. The reason for this is, if you know about mushrooms, mushrooms are the fruiting body of the fungus that kind of goes out under the ground, covers all the roots of the trees, and kind of makes the forest very uniform. It allows a lot of these roots to be able to absorb nutrients and water. And so a healthy forest has this kind of network of fungus that goes through it. And so what they do is they grab the mushroom, which is the fruiting body, and they eat it. And when they eat it, they're gliding from one place to another. And when they are, they're pooping. And when they poop, all of the spores from those mushrooms are going to settle in different places. So they actually spread this around. It's like a lot of birds will move seeds around, and flying squirrels move these around. And what's interesting is the reason they found this out is because they were doing a study on foxes. And foxes, they were finding a lot of flying squirrels in fox scat. And they're thinking, why are these are flying squirrels? They should be up in the trees. So then they started looking at flying squirrels and found out that they do spend some time on the ground to get these mushrooms. However, they know how dangerous it is down on the ground. They're going to spend most of their time up in the trees. And what they found, if you walk through the forest, in the fall is the easiest time to see this. You might see mushrooms kind of jammed into these little crotches of the branches. And I couldn't figure out what that was at first. Obviously, it was some kind of an animal. Well, it's actually either red squirrels or flying squirrels. Gray squirrels will do it too, but not as often. But they do this because they're thinking, if I drop this down to the ground, I'm going to have to go back down there to get it again. So if I leave it here, I don't have to go anywhere. Long-lived rodents are the ones that seem to be the most intelligent. And I think it's just because they have a lot of time to learn things. But Vinny is quite incredible. And if you look at his teeth, you know what, I think I'm going to, Vinny, what do you think? You think we should take you around and let everybody see you? All right, come on up here. Come on. Oh, boy. Yes. You can see his teeth. You can see he is the rodent, has the rodent teeth. You know. What do you say, Vin? There you go. And they're not the largest rodent. They're not even the second largest rodent, but they are a fairly large rodent and very, very widespread throughout the United States.